Chapter 1 of Tales of Mean Streets. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Tales of Mean Streets by Arthur Morrison. Introduction to the American edition. It was considered an intrepid thing for Walter Besant to do when, 12 or 13 years ago, he invaded the great East End of London, and drew upon its unknown wealth of varied material to people that most charming novel, All Sorts and Conditions of Men. Until then, the West End knew little of its contiguous neighbour in the East. Dickens's kaleidoscopic views of low life in the south of London were manifestly caricatures of the slum specimens of human nature, which he purposely sought and often distorted to suit his bizarre humour. Mr. Besant may be fairly considered as the pioneer of those who have since descended to the great uncharted region of East London, about which, so far as our knowledge of the existing conditions of human life in that community are concerned, we remained until, as it were yesterday, almost as ignorant as of the undiscovered territories in Central Africa. Contemporaneous with Mr. Besant's discovery of East London began the eastward march of the Salvation Army, which has since honeycombed this quarter of the metropolis with its militant camps. Gradually the barriers were thrown down, and the East has become accessible to literature and to civilization, as it never had been to the various charity and church missionary organisations. It was as the secretary of an old charity trust that Mr. Arthur Morrison first made his acquaintance with East London, and by dint of several years' residence and attentive study acquired his knowledge of the East End and its myriad denizens. Right in the midst of the great square, bounded by the Thames, the Lea, the City, Kingsland, and the Hackney open spaces, lie the dreary mean streets, which Mr. Morrison has described with uncommon power and vigour, and among which the operations of his secretaryship engaged him laboriously for years. The possibility of presenting his observations of East London in narrative form began to grow upon him while casting around for literary pabulum to convert into magazine articles, and in October 1891 appeared his first sketch, entitled A Street, in Macmillan's magazine. This, in a remodelled form, now serves as an introductory chapter to the present collection. The article in Macmillan's attracted a good deal of attention, and won for its author the good fellowship of Mr. W. E. Henley, who encouraged him in his idea of writing a series of short stories and studies which should describe East End life with austerity, restraint, and frankness. A large number of the tales appeared in the National Observer, and several followed in the Pall Mall Budget. The dedication to Mr. Henley of Tales of Mean Streets is a grateful acknowledgment by the author of the kindly and frank counsel of his friendly critic, whose criticism, it may be added, has been mainly directed towards the author's craftsmanship. His conceptions of the life he was portraying the critic was wise enough to let alone. Mr. Morrison has also been indebted on the side of art in fiction to Mr. Walter Besant, whom he met in the East
Sample complete. Ready to continue?